101 Country, WBDC, that's Cole Swindell, and we have a very special guest here in the WBDC studios. Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch has been nice enough to join us this afternoon. And Suzanne, first of all, welcome to Jasper. Welcome to the WBDC studios.
Well, it's great to be here, and I'm no stranger to Du Bois County and Jasper.
Yeah, that's right. You've been down here several times. You're from Southern Indiana yourself, correct?
From Evansville, yeah.
Yeah.
So while I have an apartment in Indianapolis, I come home to Southwest Indiana every single weekend.
You come, oh my gosh, so you're always down here.
I'm always down here. This is where my heart is.
Right, and you've got your, finger on the pulse, so to speak, of everything that is going on down here. So you've got a nice connection. Sometimes people from different areas of the state say there's a disconnect, but you've definitely got a connection with Southern Indiana.
Absolutely.
And that's very special. So you're here basically today to just kind of give us an update on what's going on in Indiana government, and we've got some huge things that are going on for the future of Indiana right now, talking Indiana budget, and this is huge for the future of Indiana, the expansion of broadband, high-speed internet throughout the entire state of Indiana. Can you talk about that?
Well, let me just say that we wrapped up the session last Thursday, yes, and it was probably, in all the years I've been associated with the General Assembly, 8 as a state rep and now 5 as lieutenant governor, this was the most collaborative, bipartisan effort I have ever experienced. And what ensued was we were able to pass a 2-year balanced budget, no tax increases, protects our surplus, but did a historic funding of K through 12 education, right under $2 billion, which is a little over 50% of our general fund operating expenditure. But in addition to that, what we did is, with the revenues coming in, $2.4 billion over what we had anticipated, and then the $3 billion CARES Act money. What it allowed the state of Indiana to do was to put some money in some one-time spends, some one-time spends that wouldn't grow government, but that would invest in our future and invest in people. And so we were able to pay cash for capital projects, including prepaying the bonds on I-69, the final stage. We were able to pay down debt. We were able to pay down pension debt. And what that does is free up revenues for the future.
Absolutely.
But we also had some huge one-time spends in some projects that are extremely important to Indiana. And you mentioned broadband. And broadband is extremely, extremely critical to Indiana. Back in 2018, Purdue University did a study, said there were almost over 400,000 Hoosiers that were in internet darkness. I understand you may be one of them.
Right.
But if all those Hoosiers were connected, it would result in an additional $20 billion over the next 12 years, or $12 billion over the next 20 years.
Right.
That's just economic opportunity. And so Governor Holcomb and I invested at that time $100 million in expanding broadband. To date, we have already awarded $79 million of that, and that will connect 22,000 families and homes. But it's not enough.
No.
We've got to have more. And that's why I am so proud and pleased that the General Assembly appropriated $250 million to continue to expand broadband here in Indiana. Because what we saw with COVID is being connected is no longer a luxury.
Right.
It's essential because we have our students e-learning, workers are teleworking, and healthcare is being delivered telehealth. So being able to expand and get more Hoosiers connected to each other, to the nation, and to the world is just going to not only lift up our economy, but it's going to improve the quality of life that we all enjoy. So I couldn't be prouder that we are investing in the future and in connecting people.
Right. It's all about, like you said, connecting people, giving students from all backgrounds, whether they live in the city or in a rural area, giving them all equal footing, chance to get the best education that they possibly can, to have access to the same things that people in, more populated areas of the state have. We all know, Spencer County is woefully short on internet connectivity, and hopefully, that's going to change. Absolutely. absolutely. What can people look for in the future as these monies take hold, and what can they do to help make sure that their part of the world is connected?
Well, one of the bills that was passed regarding broadband is going to create a portal where people like you can go on and you can type in your address and you can file and say that you are not receiving adequate broadband. And so what that legislation also did, is it said the standard by which broadband should be operating is 25.3, not 10.1.
Okay.
So if you don't have 25.3, you're not getting good broadband. Mm-hmm. What that'll allow is for people to go online and say, I'm not getting adequate broadband, and then you and your neighbors, because typically it's not just one person, it's a group of people, it's a community that's not getting connected. And so you can get enough people in that area to go online and say, we aren't getting adequate broadband. Then the state can take the initiative and ask bidders or ask providers to go ahead and bid on a project to connect those Hoosiers. I think that's going to be critical, because what that bill does is it empowers you.
Yes.
It empowers citizens to be able to say, we aren't getting the adequate service. We need your help.
Right. Right. Now, do you have any idea when that portal would be up and running? Any estimates on a timeline?
I believe the bill takes effect July 1.
Okay.
So we will probably see something later this summer, fall. See that portal, as long as it takes us to get it developed. As quickly as we can get it developed,
right.
It's going to be out there.
Well, and see, that's what's another maybe, blessing of what we saw with the COVID-19 pandemic, is Indiana really was good at getting things up and running when they had to. So you definitely had experience with, all the getting the vaccines out, getting all the information out. So now you can use that experience toward developing this portal. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we also, through COVID, we really learned how many people are affected by not having broadband, because we heard the stories about how parents had to drive their students to a school or to a library and sit in to McDonald's and sit in a parking lot so that they could do their homework because they couldn't get the Wi-Fi connection. Right. And to your point earlier, every child should have an opportunity to an education and to succeed in life. And if you're not connected, you're not going to get that same opportunity. So it's critical that we get Hoosiers connected. And I'm very proud of the General Assembly for not just passing a bill that empowers people, but put a $250 million investment in it too.
Right, exactly. So that is really exciting to see that coming down the pipeline, and see a chance for us all to get connected and pave that information superhighway.
And I bet when that portal's out there, you're going to be one of the first ones.
Oh, you know it. I'm going to sign up. I'm going to make sure everybody in my neighborhood signs up, because you've just got to have some good high-speed internet for connectivity's sake. There's no doubt about it. Also, while you're here, we can talk about something also that investing in our communities. This READY program that I just learned about today, it has an opportunity to really bring a lot of great things to some regions of our state.
Yes, back in 2016, there was a regional cities initiative. And what that did is there were 3 cities in Indiana that each received $42 million. Evansville was one, Fort Wayne was one, South Bend was one. And what they had to do is they had to put together a regional plan to be able to get that $42 million that would transform their communities, prepare it for the future in order to attract talent and keep students in their communities. That $42 million of state money actually then leveraged $1 billion of private sector money that came in to the community. So can you imagine? The General Assembly now has kind of reinvigorated that initiative. They call it READY, which is Regional Economic and Acceleration Development Initiative. So it's called READY. We
yes.
love our acronyms.
Yes.
And that is a whole lot easier than what I just said.
Right.
But the READY grants will allow 10 communities, 10 regions across Indiana to self-identify, to pick who you want to partner with, put together a plan, submit it, and then each of those 10 regions is going to get $50 million dollars to be able to transform their area and to really take it to the next level, to be able to attract talent and economic development, but to keep young people here in the community. I am so hopeful, and I know that Du Bois County is going to partner with your surrounding areas to put together a plan, because that money is going to go somewhere.
Right.
Why not Southwest Indiana, right?
Exactly. We have so many great companies here that need some good talent, and we have some great talent that grows up here, goes to school here, but then they leave. And that's a shame. And we hopefully can find a way to keep our good people here, so they can help our communities to grow for the future as well.
Absolutely. And each of that $50 million investment that the state will make with state dollars is going to draw in another $1 billion plus of private sector money. So can you imagine the state of Indiana with 10 regions all over building up the amount of construction that's going to go on, the amount of jobs that are going to be created? We want Southwest Indiana to be the real winners in this. So get on board and
it's so
get
exciting.
a grant.
It's so exciting. And all this money, this grant money, it didn't come from tax funds. It came from the CARES Fund, correct?
That is correct. You know, the money that the federal government has given to states, and in fact, we received $3.2 billion. We're receiving $3.2 billion of the American Recovery Plan money. But in addition, our revenues in April came in $2.4 billion over what we had projected. So, you know, our economy has rebounded. And what is so amazing is last year, in spite of COVID, with all the challenges that we had, Indiana created over 31,000 new job commitments, which is a 5-year all-time record high.
Wow.
So our economy's booming. Our revenues came back stronger than ever, and now it is our time and our turn to be able to lift our state up to that next level and really put Hoosiers first and benefit everyone for the future.
Yeah, we're standing on the edge of not so much a cliff, but more of like a springboard. And,
I like that.
And it's a chance. It's so many great opportunities, it sounds like, for the future for our state, and a chance to really develop into some great things too, because you know, it takes money to make money, so to speak. So now we have all this, you know, money that we have from this unfortunate situation, and we can turn it into something that's truly special and remarkable. So it's truly exciting, isn't it?
It is exciting. We're proud to be Hoosiers.
Absolutely. And also want to touch real quick before you go on the Office of Community and Rural Affairs. We know this guy named Denny Spinner, and we miss him quite a bit down here, but he's doing a fantastic job as director. And they gave out an absolutely tremendous grant last week. I think $126,000 for SERS, a technology grant for people with disabilities. And I know that's really special to you too.
Absolutely. You know, I always say our friends with disabilities are friends with really special abilities. And, you know, they have the same hopes and dreams and desires as each and every one of us. They want to have a job, have friends, and love and be loved and be successful in life. There are 100,000 Hoosiers with autism, Down syndrome, or cerebral palsy. And we want to give them the life that they dream of and be able to build for the future. And we work on that through the task force that I chair. So I was so pleased that Denny was able to present that check to SERS. They do incredible work for Hoosiers with intellectual and developmental disability. And, you know, quite honestly, I got involved and passionate because of the work of SERS and ARC and all of those organizations that support Hoosiers with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So they do great work.
Oh, that's so exciting. I'm so glad to have you in the studio today sharing some good news for the state of Indiana. I know we always have things to work on, but it's good to see all this bipartisan leadership, you know, the being able to pass all these wonderful bills and to see these opportunities for growth, for connectivity and all that great stuff and you know, bring together all parts of the states of Indiana, you know, as you continue to crisscross the crossroads.
Absolutely, absolutely, but particularly Southwest.
Yeah, right. We do love it here. And thank you so much for stopping by, Lieutenant Governor. We really do appreciate the time and efforts that you do, and we appreciate your love for this part of the state. So you have a fantastic afternoon.
Thank you, and we'll be back.
And I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.
Uh-huh.